Good morning. Got a little wobble. Remember, breathe, relax, check for symptoms of dry cough, fever, shortness of breath, and there are other new symptoms like being able to smell, or dysgeusia, the altered taste or no taste. There's chills, aches. There's other symptoms that were added, but I want you to check your CDC coronavirus self-checker up top for the new symptoms. Also, if you suspect that you might have been exposed or have the virus, follow the instructions on the site and it'll tell you exactly what to do. Now, as far as checking, I want us to check on our loved ones. Hi, Mom. Check on each other. Remember to remain physically distant, but stay socially connected. It's important. Now let's step back. There's a term out now that sounds familiar called vaccines. We're all excited because Dr. Fauci said that we could have a vaccine as soon as January. What is a vaccine? A vaccine is a substance that stimulates an antibody response so as to protect us from the things called pathogens. Like a pathogen is like one of this virus, something that can hurt us, so as to protect us from them in the future. Vaccines have been around for a long time. They work based on our antibody response. We talked about IgM, the main ones, but the big one here is IgG. What happens is, hopefully, the vaccine can stimulate enough of an antibody response that our body recognizes as it patrols. It can recognize the virus again and block it from doing any harm to us. Now, there are 4 different types of vaccines that they're working on. There's whole virus, where they're working on it's deadened or weakened virus to be injected to stimulate that antibody response. There's recombinant protein, where they're taking some of the proteins of the virus, injecting and trying to do the same thing. There is the antibody vaccine. They're thinking about using some of the cousins of COVID-19, SARS and MARS, taking some of the antibodies, figuring out how we can inject that and possibly stimulate an antibody response to protect us from COVID-19. And then there's a nucleic acid. Basically, they take some of the genetic material from the virus itself and try to wrap it and inject it. Again, all of this is to get an antibody response to protect us. The great thing about all this is that we found a path, and we found some stuff that might not work, but we don't want our hopes to get too high. This process is being expedited. It takes 5, 10 years, even longer usually, for it to happen, but it still has to go through the 3 phases of clinical trials to be safe in humans. The 1 would be phase 1, first time in humans, 1 to 20 people. 2 is safety and efficacy, 100 to 500. And 3 would be a scale of everything, and then a mass production. And they're talking about mass production of the virus into the millions right now. Now, all this talk isn't premature. It's great news, but the thing is, it's still the scientific process, and science has to lead, and we can't rush science. You don't want to rush science because you will pay later. Just be excited by the prospect that we're on the path to potentially have a vaccine, but we're finding out more and more and more every day, and you're looking behind the curtain of public health and science, and sometimes it's not always pretty. So the fact that we're on the right path towards a vaccine is great, but we need you to be patient, and we need you to step back and stay home. We could be in this for at least a year and maybe more, but this is great news. This is great news, great news. Now step back into your day, breathe, check, step back. Hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions.